Hi there, my name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree. This is for Easter Sunday, Resurrection of the Lord. Yes! We've gone through Lent, and we've gone through Holy Week, and now we are at Easter Sunday, the Sunday of the church here. Every Sunday is a little Easter. This is the big capital E Easter. Yes. Oh, yeah. I love it. It is my favorite Sunday of the year. It's my favorite church holiday of the year. Some folks, Christmas is one of their favorites. For me, it's Easter. Easter is the Sunday of the year. I love it. And for a children's sermon, there's lots of stuff you can do. Have fun with it. This is one of those times where it's like, we get a lot of kids at Easter, especially for the Easter Easter celebration, and so it's just, you have fun with it. Now, 2 years ago, I did a children's sermon on using sticks of gum, a pack of gum, and I on this page, on the blog page, if you go to dskidsermons.com, if you're watching this video just on YouTube, if you go to the blog, dskidsermons.com, or if you Google children's sermons, Dollar Store children's sermons, you can get to the blog, and so that's if you're watching this video just on YouTube. If you're watching this video on the blog, well, then you already know that. So on the blog, I'm putting a link to that previous year's children's sermon for Easter, and it talks about the packages of gum. And the one of the things I want to highlight, and someone pointed this out last year, is that it's really hard to find the gum that I use in that video. It's the sticks, the 5 sticks of gum, and the packages, and I open up the bottom and I pull out the gum, take a look at it. It's one of my favorite children's sermons I've done, and people have gotten really good use out of it. But someone pointed out that it's hard to find that gum elsewhere. Other stores, they have a hard time finding it. But the Dollar Tree has it by the cash registers and all that, so it's easy to find there. You get packages of 3 or 5, I forget. But so you get enough to where you can practice getting the gum out and preparing it. So there's that. That was a lot for talking about last year's. But if you haven't done it, check it out. I think you'll like it. What I'm doing this year is there's 2 items I'm looking at using. One is a warning cone. A warning cone. There we are. Using the warning cone, and the other I'm using is this practical joke: danger, open with care, rattlesnake eggs. But what I'm talking about with either one of these, I'm still deciding which direction I want to go, but they still have the same focus, is what happens when we expect something and we get something completely different. Because I'm tying into this idea that here the disciples and Mary, and they go to the tomb, the women go to the tomb, and they expect to find the stone rolled in front of the tomb. They expect to get there and to grieve, and they expect to do all of these things you normally do when someone's dead, when someone has died, and you're in this grieving process, when you're sad and you're expecting to do all this. They do everything what they normally do. But what happens when you get something you don't expect? This is the direction. One is I'm talking about, it would have been nice if there would have been warning cones. What do you use a safety cone for? Safety cone is so that you can see it and that you know something's happening. My older brother is a construction engineer, does a lot of road work, and talks about that the safety cone is so that you know which side to go on. It helps direct you. It helps to highlight if there's a danger or highlight something, a difference in the road. And so with the safety cone, it would have been nice if they would have put a safety cone around the tomb. So when the women get there and the disciples get there, they go, oh, wait a minute, something's different here. Now, granted, the stone's moved away, and they know something's different, but but to have these, the safety cones for us would have said, all right, something is different here, something is not what it seems, and so that maybe they could expect that something different was going to happen. So when they go in and they don't find Jesus there, it's amazing, beyond amazing. It's the miracle of miracles. It's Easter Sunday. Praise Jesus, hallelujah, since we can say that word now. So using that. Now the other item that I'm using, and this is probably going to be the direction I go, is this Danger Open with Care rattlesnake eggs. But I'm not using it as the practical joke. I'm going to talk about the practical joke, but snakes can scare people. My older brother, who I just mentioned, Bob, and my dad, Wayne, they're deathly afraid of snakes. So I'm not using this as something to scare kids at all. That's because if you don't know what this is, it's a practical joke that rattlesnake eggs, and inside you have some beads because it can shake as a rattlesnake. But inside you have this this little disc that you wind up, and the idea is that it's wound up and it's in the paper like this. And when you open it, it shakes, and it's Dollar Tree, so it doesn't work great. But the idea is that when you open it up, it shakes and it sounds like the rattlesnakes are rattling. And the idea is to get a practical joke, get someone a little bit scared. But so I'm going to talk about this, about how I said, I have a friend who bought these, and this is a practical joke where it's supposed to scare somebody. And this is what I'm going to say. This is supposed to scare someone. It's a little paper. It's a little plastic. It's a little paper, and it's got a picture of a snake on there, and it says "Danger, open with care," and it says rattlesnake eggs, and it feels so scary. But guess what? There's not rattlesnake eggs in there. There's actually just a little rubber thing in here like this. And the idea is that if I open this up, it's going to shake and rattle, and it's going to make me think that it's a rattlesnake eggs. And I get scared because everything here tells me that it's dangerous, and it's scary. If I had the same thing in an envelope, and I put butterflies, if I put beautiful butterflies inside, and I put contains butterflies about ready to be hatched, and wonder and beauty and love on there instead of all this scary stuff, and I open it up and it rattled a little bit, I wouldn't be scared. I would be excited. I'd be like, oh, they're moving, because the message out here tells me what to expect inside. So what happens when we get something we don't expect? When something doesn't match what we expect? And this idea that when the disciples get to the tomb, and that Mary and the women get to the tomb, they're expecting to see this. They're expecting to see sadness and grief, and what they find is that Jesus has been raised. Jesus has been raised, hallelujah, and he's no longer there. They don't get what they expect, but what they get is so much more wonderful, and joy and beauty and love, because God has cracked open the tomb, and Jesus is no longer there because he's been raised from the dead. Hallelujah. So this idea that when I got this and I didn't know what to expect, and I saw all this all scared me. But we have a God that takes the fear away from death. That takes and we get something that we might not expect. We get beauty and grace and love and joy. So that's the direction I'm going with this. Again, I'm not using this as the practical joke. I'm using it as, because it's labeled one way, I expect this. But like the tomb, it was labeled one way. It's meant for death. That's where you put the person who has died. And Jesus comes in and messes with everything. God comes in and messes with everything. And we get the beautiful message of grace that we didn't expect when we came to the tomb. But God has a way of giving us something much more beautiful and fantastic. So anyway, that's the direction I'm going. I hope you can use it. Hope it can be a springboard for your own thinking. So you've got that one, and you've got the cones that direct us in a way, telling us that something is different here. Something is going on. All right. I hope you have a blessed and amazing Easter. And thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next week.